Hello?
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. I'm going to take the review.
Everyone hear Jamie okay? Okay. That's okay. My name's Dan Valentine. I teach at Blue Valley Education Department. What presentation? There's only 6 people registered.
If you wish to follow along with our presentation, you're going to access slide deck. I also, while we're speaking here, I wanted to give a shout out so that you guys maybe know if you saw them around when you first walked in. My class is actually Sunday, and so we're going to talk to them, which is awesome. So if you want to say hi to my class, they're there. They have their mics on, but wave everybody. Wave. Hey, there we go. Oh my God. They have done everything kind of set up this morning, so awesome. So wonderful to be able to go. And while I'm not there, so we will see you guys in a little bit. Also, I have to say it was a little bit intimidating because my students are watching me. But they do that. So just to give you a bit of context, so last year, and Dan and I know each other for a really long time. One of the things that we talked about is that he and I both creating a software for all other situations that my students love. They are really smart at that time. But we use tech tools extensively in our lives, and so we thought these guys are growing up in a situation where they really use technology. Then
One thing I've noticed this year in particular is anecdotally, when we're using technology in the classroom, students seem to be every year a little more comfortable helping each other out, solving troubleshooting issues, whatever. So just from my own perspective, it seems like there's a building ability amongst the students to work in these environments and work these tools quite comfortably. And I think Jamie's class today, setting up the Google Hangouts, where you're giving an example of that. So.
yeah, and it was pretty great because, in this case, I turned it and they had really better ideas than I did. And in fact, this is practice run for something that you may remember. We're going to be hosting a virtual panel discussion with variety of distressing. And so this is a chance for my students to practice without me really taking on responsibilities. So very awesome. But Dan and I last year, unfortunately not this year because our schedule was but last year we worked together and basically co-taught and co-planned the HSP courses that we were running at our schools. He and I teach at different schools, and so within the same board. So we used that time to be able to work together and connect our two classes.
And that course is for those who, of course, put out just so everyone's happy there. It's the grade 11 Introduction to Anthropology, Psychology, and Sociology class. So HSP3, I, or 11. Yeah, so of course that I've taught for many years, and Jamie had the opportunity to find out. Sorry, second time. Sorry, yes, you taught it in.
But the additional twist with my group was that I run a pilot course in our school board where in WRDSE we have a strong program where they course where they have English, usually, and that's reading history this year, but then they combine it with the course where they tend to get civics, years credit, as well as English and history. And so I have created a grade 11 version where it's the psych social course with English. And so my students, these students that are in that class right now are in that course, so I see them twice a day. Which really is amazing in terms of being able to foster a connection with your students and provide them with the opportunity to engage in a deeper level because you have more time. So it's pretty cool. We wanted to make mention, this is something that keeps our but in terms of thinking about the times, it's important that we give them that time. But if you're at all interested, unfortunately it's not possible. But Upworthy is working with this company, and they're giving out 5 classes in hours. It's pretty cool. It was something that would happen.
Who would want to do that? We could do that. Yeah, we got to talk to some tech entrepreneurs in Canada because they have all the money.
So anyway, if you're interested, this is a really awesome video that talks about school recently reinvented. And so feel free to check it out. There's the link to the actual webpage where we talk about this. But we wanted to make mention because this is kind of how we feel is the idea of reinventing high school.
Okay, so I get to do the, as my friend Scott Campbell told me, I get to do the board hack right now and point to our PIPSA, the board improvement plan. You do this whenever you see it on the screen. While you're eating people come up. Anyway, so why we do this is partially because what we've been doing actually aligns with the board. Observing as that might be. What our board has identified as sort of key things that we want educators doing is promoting student voice and choice, time safety, design, collaborating, those things, differentiating instruction, buzzwords that we've probably heard in that province. Yeah. And the way we feel about it is it actually gives you a lot of space, gives you a lot of opportunity to do some cool things. And whenever anyone comes in and says, what the heck are you doing that for? You'd be like, oh, you know, it's like here in Sunday school. Aligns with the BIPSA, back up, right? So that's sort of why we throw that in there. We
That's what the heck? Why can I only? She's gone. Oh,
We're unmuted.
yo, check to see if they
And right there, we found with some issues like feminism, we got some engagement in the classes online.
The other thing too is that we did so this was us modeling, and then this was an activity where the science teacher relates to religion students through society, and you guys are asking the questions, find it on the article and engage in conversation. And so we have a fewer number of comments, but that's because our article that they found was most engagement was the topic that was they could identify and have meaning the most.
So here's the curriculum context, building on what I was saying a moment ago. This is straight from the curriculum document. So research and inquiry forms 1/4 of this course's curriculum. So exploring, investigating, processing information, and communicating, reflecting. So we took that and showed the kids this and said, this is what we're going to try and do. And I actually like this graphic because the arrows are multi-directional, right? They kind of bounce around. As you ask an inquiry question, you go find information. Maybe that challenges the question that you asked. You go back and you rephrase the question, or maybe it reveals or you find out that topic that you had to be specific, not any information on, so you zoom out and explore at sort of a higher level. So the curriculum is these 4 areas. So I really like the HSP curriculum because of that. It's easy to simplify. It's easy to build it on itself. So that first one I just mentioned, the social science inquiry model, and just inquiry in general, which we're seeing straight through the curriculum now. But then technology, so connecting to perception. So you clearly do a whole PhD study in any subtopic of those 3 areas. So it's a real thin skimming of the surface. But then human behavior and socialization. So the pitch that we give the kids is really this course is about why humans do what they do, right? And when you're talking to 16-year-old kids and 16-year-old girls, right? They want to know why people act the way they do. That's something that's really relevant to them. So we found this was a good access point to get them engaged, because you're talking about gender socialization, right? You're talking about feminism. We're talking about why, we had a great discussion at Halloween about the sexualization of girls, and we're talking girls' 6-year-old costumes. And they really dug into that. And it was, I know in my class it was interesting. No one wanted to talk about what their costume was at the end of the week. Right? So, why am I dressing up like a 6-year-old? But it was a neat process because it was really engaging, right? Why did we choose the things that we choose? Our culture frames that. We are socialized in a direction to only have certain options that we think of, right, that are possible for us.
And in that Halloween classroom discussion, then they started posting pictures of discussing maybe not supposed to do that. We just didn't have
it was like the race to find the most outrageous sexy bumblebee or sexy Optimus Prime or whatever. Right? It's perfect how much
Okay, and so then we wanted to do an example of collaboration where we then and we were did a lot.
Okay, so basically what we did was, so I said in my class, we're going to be working with this group of students at Cameron Heights. And there's a stereotype of Cameron Heights, sort of in various, categories, but it's the IB school, right? So if I say that, I mean IB. Okay, there you go. So you might be able to identify how other schools grade you, right? So my students were like, oh, the IB kids, okay. So to do a practice inquiry, sort of our first exploration, we want to know, well, who are they? What are they all about? What do you want to know about the IB kids at Cameron? And so we created a survey, right? And again, what do we want to know? How are we going to understand and get data on those questions that we want to know about them? And so what we did was we formulated questions, we created a Google form. And so what this is just a symbol for the old thing, maybe for Google form. And this is the inquiry process, and I'm just pointing to the steps that we would do. So they thought, because it's an IB school, that they're marks-driven students that are really get their work done, and they're obsessed with getting 99% of the average stuff there, which is interesting because Jamie's kids had very interesting stereotypes about Bluevale. Bluevale, well, I would say I think we're awesome. But what did your kids think about my kids?
So my and very different. That's my wonderful. But Bluevale, very different. Not so bad. So there was very different. We didn't really one of them.
So we did the surveys. Oh, question.
Oh, you make
And Waterloo. Yeah.
There's already, if you're from KW, you know where you're from. You're either from Kitchener or Waterloo.
Yeah. Is anyone from Kitchener? Cambridge is kind of like the Quebec Waterloo. Yeah. Always me. Yeah. So what we did was we grabbed the data. The kids, my class, so this wasn't with Cameron yet. We created a research report. So again, this is modeling what they were going to do later, individually in their, the old ISU type of thing. But we had the inquiry model as we defined it here. And what I just want to highlight is you'll see, again, what's great about Google Docs is you can look at the revision history. This was just formative practice stuff. I wasn't doing anything, but if we were giving feedback, we looked at it. Lots of kids in there writing. You can tell if you see the blue one there. Selma was all over it. Sarah. They were sort of the key people driving it, which gives me data, right, information on their learning. But we just described what was our question. Do the students enrolled in the IB program at Cameron have a greater motivation to achieve grade average that is comparable to those students who are not in the IB? So they wrote that. We just kind of left it there. We talked a little bit about what makes a good research question. Gathered the data, we had a hypothesis, and we're not going to show you the whole thing. Did we link it in there?
I don't think so.
We did. But then what we did was we shared with the other class what we learned about them, okay? Which is quite fascinating. And yeah.
And so my students were like, why are you asking for that? It's so weird. And it was very interesting.
And sort of the take home for us, and what we said I said to my students in particular at the time is, it's okay you didn't get maybe the answers that you were looking for. What we learned about inquiry, right? You learned that you had sort of a pre-framed expectation around that class, and they totally didn't even meet any of the criteria that we sort of thought they would meet. So the fact that JV didn't have any IB students was actually pretty awesome, because it caused us to reflect on, okay, when we're going into an inquiry, really, what are we looking for, and are we maybe specific? Just talking around those dynamics was quite valuable. And it was neat to have the kids talk to each other. We didn't present the data, we had the kids take a piece of it and talk back and forth and get to it.
The other thing that I think is really important here is that we all think that kids know how to do homework, and what they showed us is they come in with ideas, and so this, by giving them the opportunity to, do this themselves, allow them to experience what they do, realize how they become totally stereotyped as opposed to I know this. And it also allows the donor to talk about his life. So lots of really good curriculum connections that are in there as well.
And the other thing, just we're kind of talking at the student level, but at the teacher level, we were very clearly saying this is the step we're at. right? Two-part model, and you know what I mean, communicating. Okay, we practice questions. Now you're going to write your own question about the different type of students. What data gathering method are you going to use? We've studied data gathering in social science. What are we going to do participant observation? Are you going to go over there and hide in the corner and pretend you're every student walking with like a mustache and stuff? I'm the new kid. Making notes? No. So survey was what we thought. So really saying clearly this is a step we're at. We're moving. We're gathering and organizing guys to add. Now we're going to communicate. Communicate not to me, it's to the other class and say this is what we did. So being very deliberative steps.
So,
okay. Sure.
So we're just keeping an eye on this, like the opposite. If you want to pick a particular lesson example where every year, last year.
I don't know. But we were sitting. Was it me? I was sitting I was literally you in a presentation here last year, talking about media analysis in English, and I should really know her name. I texted James and said, you got to get here right now. I think we can use it. And so it was an English teacher talking about media analysis, but she was looking at how Disney presents gender and the steps that she went through with her students on that. So from a English media type of angle, and I'm sitting there going, this is socialization, gender socialization. So we watched it, we grabbed her stuff and we rejigged it a little bit, but followed her general training. And again, gender socialization became a huge theme in our course that we did a lot of stuff on, and just unpacking Disney. And what we did was we actually had the kids pick a Disney movie they wanted, they liked, in groups, and then we created a quick little graphic organizer to get them to pull up what we would define as traditional gender roles and then non-traditional gender roles. So, Frozen, right? Everybody's probably seen Frozen, I'm assuming, or I don't know, maybe we have small kids, same age, so we've seen Frozen a lot. But just breaking down, Frozen was seen as an awesome example of, a powerful female protagonist, but in our class, what we talked about is how she still looked, right? So there's the awesome ending where it's not the true love with a guy, it's the sisterly sort of selfless act, and that's awesome. But Elsa still is, gorgeous slim character, right? So just unpacking that and doing that in like the Jungle Book, doing that in, I don't know, I have kids that want to do High School Musical, but I said it had, anyway, it was neat, and they loved it.
The theme right there. A lot of compromise went on, and then there were a lot of arguments between our classes. So what free to do? But those are the great learning skills. So important for our students. So that we just put up an example there and take a look. We did have the opportunity to have it, and it was Dan and I put them. So we thought it was it's super heated discussions that and it was so that we bring them together was so and so then to put them in that situation, then we asked them. This is what we said. So the idea there of the digital
and we know they maybe are a little more free with their thoughts and a little more online, but then it kind of came back to content where we actually set this. So I think it's just to close the distance class between your online personas and the person personas. Be who you are online, so it was an authentic experience for sure. This is a Padlet that I did for my class, reflecting you got the slide deck if you're looking in what they said, but I think that the meeting with the family class went very well. We discussed a lot of things, learned AI, but just neat reflections. And I know my class found it very interesting. This one was at our school, so we had more students over there than Cameron did. But one story that Jamie, I don't know if you want to talk about Joel, but so we talked about this divide, and that was very real. But then one of my guys,
who, he was really working with in our class, he wrote to me, were sometimes offended by him. We had different discussions. But one of my students was truly awesome, and couldn't believe it in different contexts, is that when we got to Vail, he was one of our well friends.
I did that on purpose.
He made a concerted effort to make sure the student who had the physical disability that he made sure children should this student was that he wanted to be in and made sure that he took his experience. It was so helpful. So and because the kid, the students that were looking at his comment, he really appreciated how it's really sort of
they can redeem themselves after trolling them.
This is, we're thinking about time here. But if you are interested in this video, it's from my school. The link is in the slide deck. We talked about it and in fact because that's the next 14. So here they are starting to think about, and a lot of them starting to really different. I'm showing this. We had a board after that about this talking about why we need to subject. I need to really think about what does Sylvia Martinez really think where she's talking about. I think that's so many these amazing so great video.
I'm teaching FFP this semester, and I had students ask me to show that at the start of the class. They were like, "Have you seen that video?" I was like, "Yeah, I think so." So they were asking. Okay.
Just I just want to tell you this is a really awesome. And so, as I was saying to my colleagues at my school, I never teach anything in text. So I taught this course last year to them, and it's completely new. And it's not because I didn't like anything like it. I love it when you actually it's one of the best experiences of my career. However, last year's really huge. I have a lot more local students as it was here, although we're a bit quieter today. But with different students in the I also took feedback from my students to say, what is your need to do this? You need to do this. So always evolving. So these are some examples of how we are integrating another interesting welcome to take the book. This will have from the second and extended task we did first task. And the things the students come up with in the way. So out of the box thinking, how they shared what they did in terms of analyzing themselves and then applying it. All I did was ask them questions.
And this is at the end when you build that based on the book, right? So we don't throw it in the inquiry at the beginning, just say, figure it out. But by the end, I think Steve and I've seen this in class. They're getting the skills that right now my FFP kids, I let them loose for 3 days and said, you're going to learn something and tell me about it for Monday. But we spent a month building inquiry skills, so I'm super confident. I went online yesterday and looked at what they were tracking their behaviors and what they were doing, and I'm really excited to see what's coming. So once they have that base of knowledge, I'm in my own professional practice getting this where that first month, give them the base, and then let's really see them go places where you know stuff. It's not about my interests so much as what do you want to learn about.
It's actually called 428. They named it that. And so it was a chance to chat with my class. And so if people here have questions for within my class, you are of course welcome to be able to tell you some ideas that they've been doing or that we've been doing this year. So I'll just let any of you guys who want to, you guys within the room want to kind of figure out who's going to talk so that you only unmute one mic at a time. That would be really fun. So does anybody want to share anything about inquiry? Oh, that's a great idea. Okay. Does anybody in the class want to share their experiences with inquiry in our class so far? So you guys can, one of you guys can unmute your mic and go for it. Aaliyah, you have to unmute your mic. There you go.
Okay. Well, based on the inquiry method that we've been working on, we think that it's really helping us to go back and kind of revise and edit our work, because it's showing us that we have to find new ways to be able to do things and work through things as step by step. Especially that we talked about the idea of we have to look past failure and move on.
So make sure you guys get really close to the computer, okay, so we can hear you.
Yes, we focus a lot on collaboration and the sharing of ideas to come to our conclusions with questions, because we feel that by sharing ideas we can get a lot more information than rather just having our own perspective.
Okay. Somebody else, make sure you're close to the Chromebook, okay, so we can hear you.
Amos Weir. Can you hear me?
Yep, we're good now, Sylvia. Or Aaliyah, keep close to the mic, okay?
Can you hear me now?
That is good, that is good.
Okay. So based on the inquiry method within our classroom, we feel that it's helping us move on past the idea of failure, because it helps us to go back and revise and edit our work and look through the mistakes that we have made and where we can look for improvement.
Awesome, thank you. Sarah, if you want to get close to the mic again, we didn't quite catch what you said.
Okay. So what I was saying before was that we also focus a lot on collaboration and the sharing of ideas when we're trying to come up with answers when we have a question, because we think it's better to have shared perspectives rather than just our own. And so we're trying to focus a lot on collaboration and discussion.
Thank you. Somebody else want to chime in? Does anybody in here have a question? Want to see one? Did you guys hear that? Did you guys hear that? They're asking in terms of, here I can also type it.
Wait, she can't. I don't want her to see me, guys. Did you turn it on? Okay, so inquiry learning helps us.
You're really close to the computer. Beth.
Just a sec, Mr.
Make sure that the other ones are muted too.
Turn the mic off.
Okay, they're all muted. Just
Can you hear me, Mr.
Yep, you're good now.
Okay. So it helps us make learning our own. For example, when we talked about mental illnesses, everyone got to research something in pop culture for their own, and we got to see what everyone had to say about it because we all made slides on it, and I think it just helps people make learning their own and expand on what they want to learn. And yeah.
Thank you. So what Ben is talking about is an activity that we did last week, actually, where we introduced the idea of mental illness. And instead of me putting up a PowerPoint and saying, this is a mental illness, these are whatever, so I said to them, these are some characteristics of mental illness, go ahead and research, but make a reference to pop culture. It's kind of tiny the curriculum, the media strand. And so then I opened a Google slide presentation, and students then just added to the slide. And so we had some pretty awesome responses. So we had, some students looking at, and there's lots of stuff online too, looking at Batman, each of the villains and the mental illnesses there. We had some references to Ariel as a hoarder. That was a popular one in our class. Some people were talking about Winnie the Pooh in terms of the idea that they found online that Christopher Robin, people suggest, has schizophrenia. And so it was really interesting because that sparked a debate in the class. Well, does he have schizophrenia? Or is he just a child with a really active imagination? I wouldn't have come up with that, but the students did. So it was a really great example.
Thanks for mentioning that. Anybody else? Did you guys see the question there? How does collaboration prevent slacking? So how do you account for that in the classroom?
Well, considering the fact that we have to work as a team and we're all pretty motivated individuals, we feel that we cannot slack, that we always have to keep up with our peers. And not only is it the idea of collaborating with our peers, but it's an opportunity that we get to talk about topics that interest us, that drive that self-directed learning within us. And that's what helps us to become motivated and actually be willing to share ideas within the group. And the idea that you need to hold up your work for everybody else. If you slack, then it's not going to look good on your half.
There's a lot of student self-regulation within that, and basically the peers are there.
Somebody else, do you have any ideas that you wanted to share with the audience of teachers we have? How does it affect your learning within Prüm?
Collaboration also helps us hold each other accountable for the work that we have to do. For example, if a person is working on their own, it's easier to slack off and say that they will do it the next day. But if you have a project that you're working on as a group and you divided that project and into parts where each person has to work on it, it's easier to hold each other accountable for the work and ask each other if we've got that work done. So it helps us stay in tasks and work like we're supposed to.
Is there a question? Yeah, come on. Oh, fantastic. Of course.
Oh, well, I can actually.
Yeah, let's get us one. Hi there. I wanted to know the comment that was just given regarding the other classmates. If you have classmates that are not doing their job, because we all know we've been there in groups, and you just said that you hold them accountable, what about those students who are the keeners who want to make sure that they get a good mark? And for the teachers, how do you ensure that you're marking individually with that?
Well, we feel that can be explained through the idea of how much growth a student has shown through the semester. If a student has put in a lot of time and effort into their learning, then they're going to show significant improvement and that they care about their education. But if a student is slacking, then they will show no improvement at all and no independence within what they're learning.
So we're actually like how we're growing success and assess the channel. This is one of those two conversation. So we're actually growing in my practices. How do I curate those observations? Right? So I think we're really good at product. Right? Just make something, or write something, or do something. But in the process should also be assessed as well. So you still observe and conversations while they're working collaborating with the individual kid. The question is, how do you curate, right? How do you collect it for reflection later when you're reporting? And that's, I know there's lots of different systems out there, and something I'm using right now is called assessment. Very undetermined. That's what I'm using today. I don't know voice to text type thing to set that up. That's important to depends on what you're so the accountability for the student in a collaborative situation, I would say, comes down to strategy for collecting that information. What I'm doing with my kids right now, literally, I'm going to have to go check in on, they're doing a daily tracking sheet, right? So it's what you do, what resources have you access, rate yourself, 5, and write that down. So, and yesterday I went through it as they were doing it and made comments as I was kind of demonstration with them. And just saying, this is not enough for 5, 130, where, right? That's not good. And so I have a tracking sheet that's 40%. So that's self-assessment, right? So I think the key for us, and again, my perception is this is a real shift for us as educators, is getting the kids to do self-assessment, peer assessment, the students here alluded to, maybe informal, but formalize it. And then we also have this assessment, right? So conversation, saw you do this today, you said this today that showed me you understood about a good question, good question comes out of the big chat, not that skill. It's still assessment of the class environment, but the real $1 million question is how do you do that? We'll go here, and then there.
Good question. So, audience question was, what do you guys like the most about this model of running, how we run our classroom, as opposed to, compared to a traditional classroom?
I personally enjoy summatives rather than tests because
tests don't necessarily show one's skills, because as the typical stereotypical student says, you know, at the end of the day, someone could flunk an exam but then do really well all year, and it's just not fair at all. And I'm not even just saying that because, you know, tests suck, but I'm actually saying that because it's true.
In our class too, there's less focus on arts than art, and so we talk about this all the time. We talk about this all the time, where we're actually coming to a crossroads with midterm report cards are coming out, and how do I put a number on all the learning that's happening? And it's a conversation we're going to have about soon. But they really just the idea that marks it. Well, last year the conversations happened between our classes, and by being here, we're trying to share the idea. My students, as I said before, are putting on the panel. I'm going to see a video later today that they created, where they're trying to get teachers to watch us on Tuesday, November 17th at 9:00. If you're interested in seeing student-led conversations with people who have the power to change education, then you would love it.
And great question. We're working with this novel, right? And I think as we get more comfortable with that, so one of the things we did for our ISU in my class was, and I got it from the idea for saying this, it was Sarah Wellington. But she gave me a really great framework for doing inquiry through blogging. But that first step for me, that was new to me, so we kept the blogs closed down, or whatever you want to say, private. And they just interacted with each other in the classroom. We did set up some critical friends with their class. Didn't go so well as far as just engaging each other. So there's, I tried to, this is second semester with Mr. already. So still working on the one-to-one sort of classroom-to-classroom model, but for me, in that sort of growth process, my history kids are blogging about what we're doing in class and their reactions to careers and civics and history, and those blogs are out there. So what's funny is this week the big news was they've gotten all these hits from Russia, and 50 hits from some Russian meetings, so they're freaked out, to be honest. And I'm like, get them to get some pictures on it. You'll end up being Russian bride online, whatever. But so yeah, it's very early in that. But I like your point. I think that's you gotta put it out there.
The other thing too is that it's really just a matter of tweaking it, right? Really just looking at to do this. So I find I think sometimes it's the biggest challenge. But if you want to connect, I have HSP right now.
Question around your required assessment. I completely understand how you can incorporate all kinds of data for homework, but when you incorporate learning all different things, exam, home reading task, how does that look like?
Okay, so for me, I gave my kids a choice between an exam and something else. And the something else, which 85 to 90% chose, because as you heard from the student choir, they don't take exams. And you feel that having a maybe more authentic performance task would be beneficial. what they did was I literally gave them those 4 or 5 areas of curriculum. Said we're going to create some kind of product. I don't know what it is that shows me some concept about social science inquiry, something about theories and methodologies, something about socialization, something about explaining from a different social science perspective. So they got the pick. For me, I don't use Markbook, I track their learning based on essential learnings and the tasks, so that you've got one task and I've identified which 3 or 4 essential learnings align with it. So I've got this sort of spreadsheet for each kid that they can see, but then I track what, okay, so for historical, or again, I'm saying historical, social science inquiry, they start maybe they were NR level 1s, but then I look over the tasks, we've done it 3, 4, we did a lot, 5 times. Wow, look at the progress in the learning. They're actually at a level 4 by the end. That's the level 4 part that I'm going to give them in the final quarter. So then I look at the patterns across all levels. And then I arrive at most frequent, most consistent judgment. What level they most frequently at, and based on where their other levels are, then figure out what their final level. So in that last performance task, that wasn't the exam, I got all sorts of awesome things. Jamie alluded to one. I had one kid that unpacked the mental health issues of Batman going to show his understanding of psychology theories and explain his food behavior. So they did all sorts of cool things. I had a student in your ISU, so that's another piece. The story I thought she unpacked the subculture of the rock climbing gym. So she was doing socialization, subcultures. She interviewed people who run the gym, some other people, and it was amazing. I get goosebumps thinking about it when she presented, because she's like, here's my inquiry, here's what I wanted to know. It's obviously a safe environment that she's comfortable with, so she did some conservation. She went in with some questions, and then she cross-referenced it with actual academic research into subcultures and what makes a subculture, and then she went down and said, it's this, it's this, it's this. I saw this, this, this in my gym. Therefore, I think it's a subculture based on the clothes we wear, the words we use, the way that rock climbers self-identify, you know what I mean? So the sense of self that they build around that activity is very unique to other outdoor enthusiasts, I guess I would say. So, and she did amazing. She got 95. And I had another kid who looked at the psychology of the free front, because he's a basketball guy. He contacted 5 different psychological experts in the States who've done academic research on free front psychology and interviewed them using technology. Brought that in and reported on it in our learning symposium at the end of the class, right? So, so that final thing, it's if you got those essential learnings, that big structure, what are we trying to drive at? And we say to the kids, show me what you know, right? And in my case, especially second semester, as I got rolling in this, it was amazing. For some really good. There were some that didn't work, and but then that differentiates the kids.
Ultimately, though, it's that it is a summative assessment, but you make it open-ended in terms of that you're going to get to. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Oh yes, yeah, Jamie, can you leave up this? Sorry, yeah.
I'm going to try it with processing.
That's a picture, didn't it? If you need the link again to the slide, just come up and snap a photo with your phone. We'll have it up here on the Chromebook.
Interesting. Yeah, the white background. It takes away the phones, just so you know. I made a business piece. Did you guys like you did the modeling piece and then you just stick the claim to the rest of the semester? Yeah. I don't know. And did anybody teach you before in high school? John yet? Slow. We're on an island. I know. It's slow, right? I think that there's I think that have a little bit of both. Like I know at university level McMaster they're doing both and then they go full. And a lot of the students are saying it's too hard for your senior years, like you need the lecturer, so they're not getting any support. I don't think that's the answer either. There's got to be that happy. Anyway, it was awesome.
Sorry, I think I just got an angle of there's like a big glare. Sorry.
There is a lot of training. You guys as a team did not prepare us. Yeah, that's really good. And I was like, I walked into the class on the midterm was 40%, exams were 60%, and that was it. I was like, yeah. So how do you cope with that reality? Like, I love what you guys are doing. Yeah. Trying to do that at the same time, and doing them actual service. I'm having issues when you came back and said that. I was like, it made me maybe want to go back to like 1912.
I didn't get close enough. Sorry, I'm like a 2-year-old.
Are kind of catching up to us or vice versa.
I agree with you. For sure. But I think if you look beyond university,
yeah, no,
it's really
and because as an English teacher, they come out of town that Shakespeare teaches them, absolutely, but the skills you learn from assignments and discussions and whatever are going to stay with you forever.
Can I just test the connection?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, no, I agree.
So, how do you get the best of both worlds?
You know what? Like I understand. I have a whole bunch. I wrestle with that too. But like, you know, you read like Robinson, but you know that.
Like my phone is like reacting and it won't do it, so I'm using a pen and paper.
That's fine. Hey, no judgment here.
I'm like, thank you. I'm having, it really is. I'm like, okay, that was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I missed the beginning. I got coerced into something else.
No worries.
I should have come here.
We'll have 2 feet, right?
Yeah.
That's the
No.
ideal, right? And hopefully it's got if there's something that can simplify it, it's just when you came back.
OJXHMV.
You know, and I was like,
Yeah, you know what?
There's another.
And you can also treat that as a test.
I don't know, but like I said, I've been using it, so I don't know if I could do better.
Yeah, you know what? This is the course that
I like it.
it.
Like, I even left my course today where they're
Years, and then Jamie kind of pushed me and said, "Come on, you're gonna test your exam. Let's shape it up here." And it turned out to be probably the most successful because it's true every day.
They do it and then they take it up. Well, I just take practice. That's what I was taking.
I'm distracting.
English, absolutely.
That's the other reason, right? My guys are really bad. At least get some to think about it.
Yeah, you know what?
And if you didn't do it, okay,
So I
fine.
just
You didn't.
Little things
You get
that
Yeah.
I don't feel
You
like
can-
No, and that's what I'm thinking. You know what?
You were so distracted. You didn't bother to do it.
And all of a sudden, I'm just going to approach it and
They're gonna have.
see how it goes. It can't be too bad. If they're
But
doing their thing and I'm
show them
running.
that you're doing that.
Yeah.
That makes it more comfortable.
Yeah, yeah, no. Yeah, that's right. We're all
And that's what I was saying,
right?
guys. I'm going to try to do this
Yeah.
for you. Let me know how it goes. Right? We're going to go on an adventure together. Right? It's like this is just,
That's
I'm
right.
watching lots of school bus right now because I got 4 kids. So.
Yeah, right. We just get in there and make it messy, right? So anyway, yeah, thanks very
Awesome.
much.
Thank you. Yes. Hey,
Long time. How are you? Good to see you.
Oh, just coming in. Or were you?
I was had another session before. I was at Scott's. Mackenzie's doing the sightseeing, so it was really awesome.
How did that go?
Yeah, it was
I talked to him last night.
Yeah, yeah.
We're trying to break